Hi everybody, my name is Kendra Klein, and I read All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr. The book was published in 2014 and it won the 2015 Pulitzer Prize for fiction. Highly recommended. Very much recommendation. It's an incredible book. So, plot summary. This book follows two main characters, Marie-Laure Leblanc, a blind French girl, and Werner Pfeffig, who is a little boy from this mining town in Germany who ends up being wrapped up in the Hitler Youth and then later has to serve in the Nazi army as a locator. He does like radio transmissions and pinpoints where they're coming from. And the book is incredibly sad. It details, so the narration starts in 1944 with the bombing of St. Malo, and that scene and that day in August 1944 in St. Malo kind of crops up throughout the 530 pages in little segments in both Marie-Laure, Werner's, and a couple other minor characters. And what ends up happening is there's the novel starts with Marie-Laure and Werner in their own separate worlds at 6 years old in 1934, and it just follows them, and it actually goes up until 2014, and it kind of follows the lives of before the war, during the war, and the repercussions of war in Europe, which I don't know, in my grade school it wasn't really talked about as much, so I was really grateful for this book. If you want a lot more detail onto the strife and the suffering of just everyday people with the war. I know the Holocaust is more discussed in schools, and for good reason, but this gives an account on the occupation of France by the Nazis, and then the occupation of Germany by the Nazis, which I think some people kind of forget that the Nazis invaded their own country, and innocent people were, it is a mess, but there's adventure. There's a lot of emphasis on science. There's natural sciences with whelks and sea creatures. Marie-Laure is obsessed with Jules Verne, and she loves the stories. There's little snippets of Jules Verne's works in here, and Werner does a lot of stuff with physical science, with light and magnets and rebuilding things. He wants to be an engineer, and it kind of follows both characters, the choices they make, and then the war and how it molded their lives. Alright, so, section of the book. Marie-Laure Leblanc stands alone in her bedroom, smelling a leaflet she cannot read. Sirens wail. She closes the shutters and relatches the window. Every second the airplanes draw closer. Every second is a second lost. She should be rushing downstairs. She should be making for the corner of the kitchen where the little trapdoor opens into a cellar, full of dust and mouse-chewed rugs and ancient trunks, long unopened. Instead, she returns to the table at the foot of the bed and kneels beside the model of the city. Just something to get you guys interested, a little juicy tidbit. So the main 3 points as to why I recommend this book. One, the narration, the writing is absolutely spectacular. If you have students that are looking into creative writing, it combines characterization and fact in a way that I haven't seen really since The Book Thief, when I read that in high school. That this book is absolutely incredible with melding fiction and history into this heartbreaking mixture, this heartbreaking concoction. Number 2, I recommend it because you end up meeting two very different characters, Marie-Laure and Werner Pfeffig, and they're from totally opposite ends of the war. But you, through the book and the narration, you end up seeing how they got there and what they suffered and what their families suffered because of the war. And the third point is because it's a thicker book, but it reads, and I like the challenge of opening it every day and being like, what's the next adventure? What's happening to Marie-Laure? It doesn't leave you bored. It's a story. It's the perfect blend of fairy tale and storytelling, which sometimes can be lost in fiction writing, and you are completely engrossed throughout the entire book. You're transported back to Nazi-occupied France, or you're traveling the Eastern European countryside with Werner. But yes, I very much recommend this book. Please read it. I'm buying it for all my friends for Christmas if I get enough money from summer work. So have a great day, guys. Bye.